are a nation shaped by divorce. It wasn't always this way. For well over a century, divorce was rarely an option in America. Marriage legally bound a woman to a man, including her property and her wealth.
Marriage was not a partnership of equals. The rights were far more on the side of the male.
A married woman was often not allowed to open a bank account without her husband's permission. She could not buy a house, a business, or land without her husband's signature.
This period, women were not partners in firms, and they were not partners usually in businesses. It was rare. The most important partnership they were going to ever enter into is marriage, and they entered it with no equality whatsoever.
A husband could abandon his wife and children without fear of repercussions.
They could be stuck in a marriage for many, many years and have no chance to get out.
How our nation changed its view on the sanctity of marriage is a strange and remarkable story that stretches from the mansions of Manhattan to the pulpits of country churches to a small courtroom in Washoe County, Nevada.
The changes in Reno really were hugely significant for families in the United States. It suddenly opened the door for women to be able to take charge of their own lives and to be able to make decisions about their future.
Reno and the Romance of Divorce is the story of how one small town came to represent the largest social revolution in America in the 20th century.
We are looking at a period of history in Reno when the legislation changed in terms of the divorce laws.
It only requires 6 weeks' residence in Nevada to become legally qualified to sue for divorce. And this fact, added to its lenient divorce laws, has made the state a popular rendezvous for divorcees.
Reno had the reputation of being a place where people did come to be rejuvenated.
You had people from every strata of society going to Reno for a divorce. You had rich, you had poor, you had Hollywood movie stars.
The Reno Cure became national shorthand for divorce.
It meant the equivalent of I'm going to Reno for 6 weeks. I'm going to cure myself of this dummy I'm married to.
When people knew they could come here and get that divorce and it was legal, more came.
The main reason that they changed the legislation was economic, to make sure that they could bring in revenue to the state.
This is the decade of the 30s. It was the Great Depression, and people didn't have a lot of money. And here there were scads of people coming to Reno, Nevada to get divorced. Divorce is the one industry that the Depression can't touch.
I let him down.
Most of the guests that came were actually looking forward to freedom.
Now that I'm free, you turned your back on me.
The Dude Ranch business, which was divorce ranch, was growing around Reno.
People started converting houses, bigger houses, into apartment buildings. Sometimes they would just rent a room because they needed the income.
You would stay there for 6 weeks, they would take care of you, and they would make sure you got to the Washoe County Courthouse to get your divorce.
Being in Reno for 6 weeks also provided a place where you could behave in ways you wouldn't behave at home. It would have been a life-changing experience.
From divorce ranches and resorts to the Supreme Court to Hollywood. The story of Reno is the story of a nation undergoing a slow revolution.
American culture changed in Reno. What the divorce laws did is they said there are two equal partners here, and they both have a voice and they both have to be heard. This shift that was happening in that city could be felt everywhere.
Reno's story is our story.